Hello everyone, welcome back to another spring episode. Today I'm going to teach you from where I left things off in the previous video. Today we'll learn more Jstl core tag libraries. We'll learn about the Iftag now. This tag is used for testing the condition and it displays the body content if the expression evaluated is true. It is a simple conditional tag which is used for evaluating the body content if the supplied condition is true. So we'll have an example for the if tag, if JSTL tag. Here we paste it. Here what we have done is we have set the var income in scope session equal to value 4000 into 4, and if we've used the if tag to test if the income is greater than 8000, and the paragraph tag will show the income if it's greater than 8000 without income, by out in the income. So inside the if this condition works inside the if these conditions work, and it outs the income. Okay, let's run this and check what happens. We provide localhost 8080 and my income is null. We didn't get any value. That's because the income is not greater than 8000. We'll change this to lesser than and check it. Well, we have to, it's not wrong. We have to X out this like this. Let's run this again. And here we see my income is 16,000, just like that. Okay, that's it for the if tag. Now let's learn about the choose, when and otherwise tags. The choose tag is a conditional tag that establishes a context for mutually exclusive conditional operations. It works like a Java switch statement in which we choose between numbers or alternatives. And the when tag is a subtag of choose that will include its body if the condition evaluated is true. After that, the otherwise tag is also a subtag of choose. It follows when the tags run only if all the prior condition were evaluated is false. The when and otherwise works like if else statements, but it must be placed inside the choose tag. So here like this we have to paste a set tag and your income is out like this. Let's see the example for the choose when and otherwise tags. One example for choose when and otherwise tags. Here we'll paste this and we'll change this to X here. Okay, here we have a choose tag first, and we have a when tag. We test if income is lesser than equals to 1000. If that's the case, we will get income is not good. And there's another case that checks if the income is greater than 10,000, and if that's the case, we get income is very good. And finally we will check if the otherwise income is undetermined. We'll have this also inside the index.jsp. Here we set X like this, and here also X. Okay, now let's run this and check what happens. We get your income is 16,000, income is very good. This happens because actually income is greater than 10,000, and because of that we get income is very good. If it was the other way around, it would have got income is not good or income is undetermined. So for that, let's change this to lesser than equal here also, and let's run this and check it. We should get income is undetermined. We get income is undetermined, just like that. Okay, we'll see another example for the choose when otherwise tags. We'll copy this example and paste it here. Here what we are doing is we are setting a value of 10 with the variable name num, and we have given a choose which test if when test num modulus 2 is equals to 0, so it exouts the value is an even number, and if it's the other way around or otherwise it will say the value is an odd number. Okay, let's check it. We get 10 is an even number. This happens because 10 modulus 2 doesn't give remainders, and because of that we see that the number is an even number. Now let's learn about the for each tag. For each tag is an iteration tag used for repeating the nested body content for fixed number of times or even over the collection. This tag is used as a good alternative for embedding a Java while, do while or for loop while via a scriptlet. The for each tag is most commonly used tag because it iterates over a collection of objects. Now let's see an example for the for each. We'll remove this and paste this here. Here we'll check if the for each var j begins 1 and ends in 3. We'll check if we'll output the value j and check for the for each. Let's run this, and actually we give the end as 10 here because we can get multiple values. Let's run this. And we get item 1, item 2, item 3 up to item 10, just like that. So it iterated the values. The for each is used to iterate values inside our application. Now let's check on the for tokens tag. The for tokens tag iterates over our tokens which is separated by the supplied delimiters. It is used for break a string into tokens and iterate through each of the tokens to generate output. This tag has similar attributes as for each tag, except one additional attribute, delims, which is used for specifying the character to be used as delimiters. Let's have an example for this. We have x4 tokens where item is Arumandu Kulesh Alex and delims is minus and name is the var value, and we x outed the value x name. Let's check this and what happens. We get our values, the names Arumadru, Kulesh and Alex separated and outputted inside our browser. Okay. Now let's learn about the param tag. The param tag has the parameter in containing import tags URL. It allows the proper URL request parameter to be specified within URL, and it automatically performs any necessary URL encoding. Inside param tag, the value attribute indicates the parameter value and name attribute indicates the parameter name. Now let's check this example of the param tag. We remove this and paste this here. Here we have provide the URL new.jsp like this, and complete URL and tracking ID. Let's remove this. And finally, let's check this out. We get new.jsp tracking ID 786 and user Kulesh printed. So here what we did was we URL the new.jsp with the complete URL variable, and we provide a tracking ID 796 and user Kulesh to the URL is called URL binding, and finally we outputted the complete URL of the URL tag. So we got new.jsp tracking ID 786 and a user Kulesh. That's how we use URL binding inside our application. Now let's learn about the redirect tag. The redirect tag redirects the browser to a new URL. It supports the context relative URLs and the param tag. It is used for redirecting browser to an alternate URL by using automatic URL rewriting. So let's copy this example and check it out. We have set a value of URL with value 0 scope request, and we have given if to test the URL is lesser than 1, and if that's the case we will see google.com, and if test is URL greater than 1 we redirect to youtube.com. Let's run this and check it. Let's refresh the browser and we go to google.com. That's because the URL is lesser than 1. We change this to 3 and check it out. It go to localhost 8080 and it redirects to youtube.com just like that. And finally let's learn about the core tag URL tag. The URL tag creates a URL with optional query parameter. It is used for URL encoding or URL formatting. This tag automatically performs the URL rewriting operations. Jstl URL tag is used as an alternative method of writing call to the response encode URL method. The advantage of URL tag is proper URL encoding and including the parameters specified by Jira Param Tag. Now let's see an example for the URL tag. We'll copy this and we'll remove this code and paste it here. We URL value to new.jsp. Let's run this and check it. We'll go to localhost 8080 and we get new.jsp printed. So that's how we work with JSTL core tag libraries inside our application. So till here we have learned about 12 JSTL tags inside our applications. We've seen examples for each one of them and we've learned about them to a max content. So in today's lesson I'll finish the JSTL core lesson from today, and I'll come up with another JSTL lesson another time later on in this week. So I hope to see you in another video another day. Until then, goodbye guys.